we are in beautiful British Columbia, right outside Sycamoose, BC, and at the Carl Custer Mountain Park, right?
Whatever you say on that, I don't know. I just know we're in Canada.
And we're in the middle of a river right now, and we're riding the all-new 2019 Outlander here, and we've got the Maverick Sport right here. And we spent a couple days on these machines. We've had a wonderful time getting to know them a little bit, and so we want to just give you a roundtable of what is in store, not only for 2019, because both of these machines, Maverick Sport's all new, Outlander's got a ton of great upgrades to it, and so we thought it'd be beneficial to kind of go through them all. So you want to start with the Outlander?
Yeah, I'll start. There are lots of different things about the Outlander that they've improved upon this year when it comes anywhere from the 650 all the way up to the 1000. It's been several years, 2 generations, since I spent a ton of time on an Outlander. But what I remember is the power was ridiculous on the 800. You could steer it with your throttle, with your thumb throttle, and I also remember the ride was not all that good. And I spent like 400 miles over the course of 7 or 8 days on one. And I remember thinking I didn't want to particularly buy one, and so I didn't know what to expect coming out and checking out this ATV. But some of the improvements that we saw on paper were a new suspension setup, new geometry, which is really fancy.
They widened the machine 2 inches, gave it the arched A-arm in the front.
Did lots of things to it, but so they did these improvements, and on paper it looked like, hey, they improved the ride. So I didn't know really what to expect. What I found, and we grabbed an 850. I've ridden, while we've been here, I've ridden the new 1000. Which is now the most powerful production ATV available at 91 horsepower.
It's fast.
It's very fast. It's monstrous fast. It could be like the good guy or the bad guy in a Marvel movie. I mean, it's that ridiculous. And then we have the 850, and then the 650 was out here. I didn't get to ride it. But where I landed on all that was the power carries from my previous experience. The 850 has just ridiculous power at 78 horses, and the weights delivered is off the chart. I mean, it is rough, but in a cool sort of way. And Can-Am's known for that. When I was following others, when I was following Casey riding an ATV, you can see as soon as you turn the corner and you jump on the throttle a little bit, it breaks the rear tires loose, and that makes it a ton of fun to drive. I can't think of what other ATVs out there outside of like a 1000 Polaris that does it, but even that one doesn't do it like this. So for me the 850 is like spot on. It's got so much power. If you just barely bounce on the throttle, the front end kind of lifts a little bit, which makes it really fun in corners and really fun on any kind of a water crossing or whoop or anything. You can get the front end to come up at will, and I like that. The ride is outstanding. It's a whole new level. It's a whole new level. That's what I've taken away from this experience, probably more than anything. I mean, there's plenty of technology on the Outlander. There's plenty of just the power, obviously, but the ride is so good. It's smooth. It's comfortable. Adding the 2 inches of width on this is a godsend. It's stable. It's predictable. The engine braking on it is really good. Builds confidence. It's so good, and it's dialed in just right. This is the most natural feeling Outlander I've ridden on this trip, as a total package. You know,
agreed.
Everything's just dialed in. It's natural feeling. This one does not have drive-by-wire technology on it like the 1000 does now, and we'll get into that, I guess, in a second. Quite frankly, this is the one I would buy. I'd buy the 850. It's got everything I want in an ATV, and with its comfort level now, I wouldn't hesitate to take this on a 2-week excursion adventure, and I would be thrilled to have it. So that's like the summary of what I've been thinking. It's been a ton of fun to drive or ride.
I second all those opinions. I mean, like Josh said, out of the 2 different variations we rode with the 850 and the 1000, this one was consistently the favorite. Just the power delivery, like you said, it's crazy. It breaks all 4 tires loose in 4-wheel drive, which is awesome. I really noticed too, and you touched on it too with the suspension, how they added the front sway bar, right? And then they decreased the stiffness in the rear. Basically, they made the rear sway bar smaller.
They work together.
Yeah.
Because of that front sway bar, the rear doesn't have to have so much tightness to it.
Yeah.
And it stays flat in the corners. I mean, a couple of corners I took, I thought this thing, I need to lean, do a little dance, little lean.
Yeah.
And it was totally unnecessary because it just stays flat and you can just power slide through those corners, and this smile on your face of being able to do it. And you don't have to be like an expert rider to do it on this.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's no better way to say it.
Lots of smiling.
Yeah, and the cool part is too, is if you want to get aggressive with it, you can. You know, and the spring rates are actually softer because of the new sway bar combination, front and rear. And so that makes it more compliant when you're going through, you know, technical terrain and that kind of stuff. I also found that you could also hang a leg out if you wanted to and really get aggressive with it, you know, through the corners and some really tight trails that we had here. It was just a blast to ride. It's not tippy. The seat on it is comfortable.
Very.
But you can also move around, which is nice.
It's not overly wide, and it's not too skinny either. Where someone like me would, you don't tend to slide forward on the seat the way you do if the seat's too thin.
Yep, agreed. But like the ergonomics wise too, the brake pedal, it's always high on there, but I don't know, it's fine like it is. It's easy to put in gear, you know, with the lever on the right.
And that is an improvement as far as my previous experience, and Can-Am has been known to being hard or to go from one gear to another. This one didn't suffer from that at all.
Yeah. Start everything on the left, your switch controls, everything's good. I noticed that the winch was easy to work as well. We never used it.
Yeah, we never used that.
Yeah, I mean, the out and in's right on the left-hand side.
I guess that's a good ride or a bad ride, depending on how you look at it.
Never got stuck. And yeah, everything else. Oh, and I noticed too, one thing I want to comment on is that the 850, even though it doesn't have the electronic throttle on it, because it's fuel injected, the throttle was still pretty darn easy.
Yeah.
It was not as easy as the 1000 and the ICT system, but my thumb never got tired.
Yeah, I didn't find my thumb getting tired at all on this ATV. A couple of other things that I forgot to mention. They've taken the plastic pieces off the ends of the front and rear bumpers, grill guards, and they've made it all of, you know, steel, welded everything up, so it's heavier duty. The fenders, because they went 48 inches wide, they put these mud fenders on the wheel wells. And I've been through some mud, and I didn't find it flinging up on me, kind of like what I was expecting.
Yeah.
You get a little mud on this part of your foot and your leg, but as far as my upper body, I didn't get anything thrown on me.
And they're aggressive tires too with the Terracrosses on there, which I think is another great aspect of this machine. I mean, I know they tend to wear out a little faster because of their wide track, but at the same time, they're great tires, and especially when we were riding up on the groom trails and we got in some rocky stuff. I don't know about you, but I'd never felt like it needed more traction.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah.
I didn't either. And it tracks well. I'll throw out, and I love the way it looks. Like, it's cut. These body panels have hard edges to them, which makes it look aggressive. And the cool thing about this is it performs.
Yeah.
It lives up to that look. I will say, moving to the 1000, just to give just a brief.
Yes. We're
going to get into the 1000, probably have a demo unit that we can do a full video review, but my experience on the 1000 was again, it's the same body, same suspension, same everything, but you get more technology on it and you get a bigger engine. 91 horsepower. They did do something when they put I guess you would say ride-by-wire rather than throttle by or drive-by-wire, but the intelligent throttle controller ITC that you find on different Mavericks and stuff like that, you can set it to a work mode, standard mode, or sport mode. Work mode allows more throttle input and bouncing around on the throttle without the engine lurching you forward and backwards. And I found that to be cool, like on super rocky stuff and real technical, I'm going to pick my line.
Yeah.
That throttle control was nice. The one in the middle, which is what I kind of used to hit the
standard mode.
Yeah, standard mode.
Yeah.
To hit more of the logging roads and open trails. I liked the feel of that. And then if you go sport, you get all that horsepower, and like any move of that throttle, it responds in a big way. The engineers even said it was brutal. Like it was and when you say that with a French accent, it's really pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it's a good machine. I thought it felt like the ITC and being able to adjust that stuff is cool. I don't really necessarily need that. And again, that's why I kind of wish they put it on the 850, and I might be more interested. I don't think you're going to work. You don't buy a 1000 to work with it. You buy a 1000 to play, and use it as a sport wreck type vehicle. You know, so that's just everything else about it rode fine. Yeah. I actually like the engine braking on that one is about as smooth engine braking as I've ever experienced. The transition between throttle and letting off throttle was just elegant. Like that's the word. It was just elegant. It was like a fine tango with someone who knows
wine, but you know,
who knows what they're doing compared to not. However, I felt better, I don't know, connected with this one. Yeah. With the 850 that doesn't have that same dialed in engine braking. But overall, I mean, it's a ton of fun to drive. And of course, you have all that power. If you really want to use it, if you're a super aggressive rider, you'll love it. But I would even argue that a super aggressive rider would absolutely love this too.
Absolutely. I agree. I mean, I think the consensus that we got to was that the 1000 felt a little bit more artificial in a way, but it was tons of fun. So it didn't. We're just used to the old school where you're connected to the machine. When you open up the throttle, it's immediate, and stuff. So that's where we really fell in love with the 850. I'm like Josh, I would choose the 850 over the 1000 right now. But our feedback too was, and the other consensus was that we really like to see the intelligent throttle.
I'd like to see it on an 850. Yeah. I'm sure it would be an option, like a higher end, one of the XT or above, some kind of above model.
Yeah.
And I would have a feeling that that's coming, but I would take this just as it is. Like if I were walking in a Can-Am dealership today to buy an Outlander, I'd buy the 850 XT.
Yep.
Boom, done.
It's got great storage. It's got LinkU, all that stuff too.
It's just good. This is one on my favorites list now.
Yep.
Oh, really? So.
Agreed.
Okay, we probably should move to the Maverick Sport.
So the Sporty, I think the best way to describe this machine is that it's a Maverick Trail, but it's got a 60-inch width. Does that make sense? I mean, it's really, it takes everything that we really liked about the Maverick Trail and just widens it, and it really, in my mind, just makes it better. It's still got that 90.6-inch wheelbase. This has a little bit more travel, so it's got 11.5 inches in the front, 12 inches in the rear, and obviously it's got the 60-inch width now, so 10 inches wider. The inside is basically the same. The only difference is that the doors are actually widened an additional 2.5 inches on each side. So if anybody sat in a Maverick Trail and thought, man, I'm not quite sure my arms from hitting the side or anything like that, I'm pretty sure that's solved in the Maverick Sport.
I think that's solved.
Yeah, and in my review too, I mentioned the fact that it's really neat that these doors actually fit on the Maverick Trail.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so that would be, if somebody has a trail and they don't absolutely need it to be 50 inches wide, you can spare the extra 2 inch or 5 inches, whatever.
Yeah. Then
you can put these on. So I think one of my favorite aspects too of it, and now I'm kind of jumping with it, but when Can-Am was talking about how they developed this machine and how it differs from the trail to now being the Sport, they were talking about how they built in a certain amount of oversteer, so a certain amount of fun.
It's our alarm, don't worry about it.
Yeah. A certain amount of just the capability to slide it around and to really use that power that this machine has. And I found myself really enjoying that and finding that to be true when we're out on these trails. You can get two different models with this. You can either get a base model, which has a 1000 class engine with 75 horsepower, or you can get the DPS model. from our experience, I think the DPS model is the way to go, because not only does it have power steering,
you want power steering.
You do, and honestly, the Maverick Sport and Trail, for that matter, has, in my opinion, one of the best power steering units in the industry. It is not the tri-mode system, which I'm actually grateful for. It's got very good just steering characteristics. It takes away all the bumps for you. The assist is very good on it, and everything. So that, in the total package, lends itself well to that oversteer and flickability when you're out on the trail.
Flickability, that's a technical term.
Yeah, you gotta have fun on it, right? So that's what it's really, bottom line is, it's just really fun to drive, and stuff. So you can toss it into a corner sideways if you want. It sticks. It does not feel tippy. It still has 12 inches of ground clearance, which is pretty darn great.
And that's right in line with the competitors.
Yeah,
the competition.
One thing I was interested in too is they didn't put the arched A-arms in this like they did the new Outlander.
I kind of wondered about that.
Yeah.
However, the Razor 900 doesn't have that either.
Okay. So
it's still, and it's a dual A-arm setup, front and rear. Obviously, this lines directly up with the Razor S.
Yeah.
From the horsepower, well, the 75 horsepower and 75 horsepower of Razor S, and then the 100 horsepower version of this lines up with the 1000 Razor S.
Yeah.
They obviously, boom, like fired a big cannon across the bow of Polaris Razors, that they're going after that market, and it's a natural extension to do that. I think the end result is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I sidetracked myself with the power steering too, but that DPS model does, like you said, have the 1000, which is 75 horse, and the 1000R, which is the 100 horse.
We need to clarify that. So you can choose to get the 100 horsepower, and it just has different muffler on it. It has a different exhaust system on it. It has some tinkering and some witch doctoring, and to get that extra 25 horsepower. And we actually, I am hurt because I've not even been behind the wheel of this. We've run out of time, but we've driven and ridden in both versions. Mm-hmm. And you said the 100 horsepower version is noticeable or not?
Absolutely.
Compared to the 75.
Yes. If you're a weekend racer and you want to have that extra power, the R version, the 100 horsepower, is the way to go. It takes the fun up a notch. That being said, I spent a half a day in the 75 horsepower one and absolutely had a blast. It never lacked power, for that matter. And if you want to save the money, it is not a bad decision to go with the 75 horsepower model. I would completely recommend it. There's no qualms about it. Now, when we got on the track and we were doing this kind of, it's not really a track, it was like a grass track sort of thing, that winded through the woods. The 100 horsepower was amazing. It just picks up faster. It's a little more crisp when you're on the throttle. Crisper. It's like the celery stick you just ate the other day.
Wow.
No, no.
I was thinking chicken crispers.
Yeah, right. That's true. That was like the salad and taco analogy over here. But anyways, it's just more crisp. It definitely picks up faster. It just has a little bit better response to it, and as it should. I love the diffs in the back. It's always locked. It hooks up really well. The Visco lock in the front, it is actually very good in this machine. The only time I ever found myself wanting like a smart lock, which is not available on the Maverick Sport, which who knows, in the future it might be. The only time I really thought I might want that is up some of the really gnarly rock climbs that we were going up. 99.9% of the time, you're not going to need it, so don't worry about it. I wouldn't actually put it on here.
It'd be nice to have it as an option.
Yeah.
Just, again, I rode in it. Feels stable to me. Mm-hmm. I would definitely, he goes in, he does a complete review of this, get into even more details. And I'm going to kick out one on the Outlander and go into more details. Overall, I think we're impressed with both machines. This came out several months ago. It's good to finally get behind the wheel of it. is it a good competitor to the Razor S? Is it a good answer?
Absolutely. I think it's the wheelbase is a little bit longer. That inherently makes it a little bit more stable when you're out on the trail, which I really like. It still retains that. People who have driven the Razor love the flickability of driving with that machine too. I think this machine is the same, or if not better actually, because it's a little bit more stable and longer.
I am feeling an adventure with a Razor S and one of these. That's what I'm feeling. To really see if we can nail down which one we like better at the end. I think it'd be super close, but
I'll drive.
Hey, I like the LEDs on the front.
Yeah.
Above the headlight.
Yep.
But this is a nice machine, and riding in it, I had plenty of room, plenty of shoulder room, and I do value these doors. And they went on and on about the doors, how they're sealed, the size, and of course the room and where the handles are. And you can see that in the way they close like a car.
Yeah. It might.
You know,
we thought they were top notch on the trail, and they are definitely top notch on the sport.
They're better. These are better.
Yep.
These are better than the trail.
And I love the fact that they're full doors.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Full half doors.
Every machine. Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah.
Full half doors. No holes in the bottom.
I feel like every machine should come with that. So, anyways,
yeah.
It's a great machine. I think at the end of the day, the question is, would I buy it? And I would say absolutely. I think this is the ideal width for you to take a machine, especially side by side, wherever you want, because it's legal on so many different trails. It can haul 300 pounds in the back. It can tow 1,500 pounds with a standard 2-inch receiver. So at the end of the day, it's very versatile, and it's also very comfortable on the inside. So no matter what size we are or anything, it just works.
Well, within reason.
Yeah.
You
exactly.
you can't put a Sasquatch in that thing.
That's true.
But it's
you have to take the roof off because the head would stick out the top.
So appropriate for where we're at.
Yeah.
But yeah. Again, we're gonna wrap it up. For more information on either of these machines, check out atvescape.com. Look us up on Throttle On Podcast.
Yep.
.com. I should remember the .com part. And we'll also put up reviews of both of these machines on our YouTube channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching. If you want to send us questions, hit us up on Instagram at ATVescape.
Yep. We'll see you on the trail.